So to rank each book now, let's say by author, but we want to rank them by price, we can provide an order by statement within the window function, right? So within the over statement. So we want to number these books and we want to order them by price descending order, right? So if we were to provide that order by statement, we will have a different result set. You'll notice here, Hubad na Uhaw is now rank 4 instead of rank 1 from the previous query. So Hubad na Uhaw is now rank 4 because we provided an order by price statement in our row number window function. But if you actually take a look at Hubad na Uhaw in the previous statement without that order by statement, you'll see that Hubad na Uhaw is 1, right? And that's because we were numbering them as they appear on the table. But since we want to organize them, right? We want to order them by price. Since Hubad na Uhaw is just 25 pesos, it drops to rank number 4 compared to, let's say, a Supreng Alapa, which is 250 pesos, right? And has the rank of 1. All right. So again, these particular orderings, right? This is how we can essentially rank our result set, right? And you can specify other orderings as well. So maybe not just price, but maybe you want to order by title. You can do so. Right. So now let's proceed to the activity for the window function. So again, we will make use of the book table from the SQL 3 books database, as well as the order item table. Okay. So here, we have a question. What is the most expensive book by category? Okay. So this can be a bit difficult, right? Because we're trying to apply a categorization first before getting the most expensive book. Unlike before, where we just get the expensive book regardless of their category, right? So for this particular situation, what we'd actually want to do, we want to rank each book per category by retail price, right? So that we can specify, within the grouping of this particular category, this is book A is the most expensive, then book B is the second most expensive, etc. Right? So we can rank each book within their categories, and afterwards we just retrieve the books with a ranking of 1, right? So that we can get the most expensive book per category. Okay? So in that particular sense, we can create we're gonna be combining several of what we've learned today, right? Let's use a common table expression to first apply that numbering, or rather that ranking of our books by looking at the retail price, right? So here we select star, and then we also provide a row number over the partition of category, because again, right, you want to get the rankings by category, and then we order it by retail price, right? So we call it as retail rank. Let's first see what that actually results into. Okay, let's retrieve this particular statement. Okay, so if we execute this piece of code, let's first move to the correct database. Use database SQL 3 books DB. You'll need to specify the database keyword, so just use this particular database, and then let's re-execute this code, right, where we get the ranking of books by retail price partitioned by the category. So if we execute this piece of code, you'll notice here we have all of the books within the table. Now they are ranked according to their retail price, right? So you'll see here all of the categories are in this category column, and we can see that, for example, in the window of computer books, right, the most expensive one is called hand cranked computers, and its retail price sorry, that this is the least, not yet the correct one, because we didn't actually order it by descending order. By default, it orders it by the ascending order. So let's provide just that descending order correctly so that we can get the correct answer. Okay. Okay, so now we've rerun it and we now have the correct ranking, right? So we need to rank by retail price in descending order, so that now we see the computer here. The most expensive book is called Holy Grail of Oracle within the computer window, which has the retail price of 75.95, and accordingly it has that retail rank of 1. All right. The same applies for, let's say, Family Life, that window or that category of books. The only books here and the most expensive book is Painless Child Rearing, which is 89.95, and accordingly it has a retail rank of 1. Okay, so with this particular ranking done, we can now select the category, the title, and the retail from this subquery that we just calculated, where the retail rank is 1. So this will ensure that the data, rather the row of data that we're going to be collecting, has the retail rank of 1, which translates to the most expensive book by category. So let's execute this piece of code. Let's get the larger piece of code now, and let's execute and see what is the result. Right? So if we execute this piece of code, we now know that these are the top most expensive books by category, right? So we see here Painless Child Rearing, How to Get Faster Pizza, etc. Right? And they are according these are distributed by category. Okay, so here we just have one more activity, which is what is the most ordered book by category. So for this particular query, we need to do the following first. We need to be able to join the book and order item tables so that we can retrieve the title name, or rather the name of the book, right? Afterwards, we apply the ranking again, and here we want to rank each book per category by the quantity, right? The number of books that were ordered. Finally, we then retrieve the books with a ranking of 1. Okay, so that's what we did here in this particular statement. So first, we just joined the order item table to the book table, right? So we can retrieve the category, the title, and then the quantity of the book, right? Because in the order item table, it doesn't actually contain the quantity and the title of the book. Okay, so now that we have this, let's actually execute that so that we can see the result. Okay, so here, when we execute that piece of code, we just essentially get the title of the book, the category of that book, and then the amount of orders it is found in. Okay, next, we can then apply our ranking system, right? So that we can rank our books by their quantity, right? And we partition it by categories so that we can calculate which are the most ordered books within their categories. So let's proceed to execute that. What I'll do here, I'll just remove one statement, and then I'll try to execute this. Okay, so what this particular statement does now is we get the category, the title, right, and the quantity of the books, and then we specify the ranking of those, right? Again, I think there might be an issue here because we didn't specify the order. So we want to specify it by descending order so that we can get the most expensive instead of the least expensive, or rather the most ordered instead of the least ordered. So let's just rerun our script. Okay, and then from this point, we should now see that the rankings are now correct. Database implementation has a quantity of 7, so it should be rank 1. Revenge of Mickey, 5 quantities, 5 orders, so it should have quantity of 1. Okay. Afterwards, we will just then select the data that we want to category, title, and retail from CTE, where the retail quantity rank is equal to 1, right? So if we execute this piece of code, you will then find that the most ordered books by category are as follows. So how to manage a manager for business, that is the most ordered book. It was ordered only once. For the computer category, the most ordered book is the database implementation with a total of 7 orders, and so on. All right. So it was a bit complicated, right? Because we needed to first join the book in the order item table. And then afterwards, we needed to apply our ranking. From there, we can then just retrieve the books with a ranking of 1. And then you can identify the most ordered book by category. All right. So I hope you've been able to understand how we can make use of common table expressions and other kinds of subqueries for use in other queries, as well as have a better appreciation of how we can use window functions in order to apply some aggregations as well as some rankings on your data. All right, so that's it. Thank you all for listening, and catch you soon. Bye.